Hello, Whiteboard Economist here, and welcome back to my channel. This is my video lecture on Introduction to Microeconomics. And as usual, since this is the first video of this series, we're going to start off with something basic. And you can see that I've written on the board here, the topic for today is Principles of Microeconomics, Part 1. There are quite a few principles, and so I don't think we can get through all of them in one video, so I figured we'll just split them up into two parts. And today we'll do the first four, and we'll do the rest in the next video. So let's begin. Well, the first principle is people face trade-offs. Now, this is kind of like, ancient alchemy, where they say to get something, you must give something up. Well, this holds true for economics as well. And so let's look at it this way. Let's say I'm offering you, some candy, and I have I have a bag of M&Ms, and then I have a Snickers bar. And so I said, well, you can only have one. You can either have the M&Ms or you can have the Snickers bar, but you can't have both. So you now have a trade-off between eating the bag of M&Ms or having the Snickers bar. So this is your trade-off: M&Ms or Snickers. So this is what I mean when I say people face trade-offs. Now the next principle is everything has an opportunity cost. Now the first two principles go together very well. If you ever heard the phrase "there's no such thing as a free lunch," that phrase is is based off of these two principles. Because, well, so let's focus on the second principle now. Everything has an opportunity cost. Well, what do you think of when you think of the term cost? Well, most people think of cost in terms of, you have an item, and then there's a price tag on this item, and they think, well, this is a cost. Well, this is a cost. That is true. But in economics, the term cost has a broader definition. Because let's go back to this example here. I'm offering you, M&Ms, and I'm offering you Snickers for free. So if they had a price tag attached to them, they will be $0, because I'm giving them to you for free. And so if you go by this definition of cost, then these two have no cost to them. But there is a cost in economics. We call this the opportunity cost because, well, what is opportunity cost? It means the value of what you give up in order to make your choice. Because remember when I was giving you a trade-off, you either had M&Ms or Snickers. So if you pick the M&Ms, then you can't have the Snickers bar. Likewise, if you pick the Snickers bar, you can't have the M&Ms. So by deciding in this trade-off, you are giving something else up in order to make your choice. And if you take the M&Ms, the Snickers bar will be your opportunity cost, because that's what you're giving up. And if you take the Snickers bar, your opportunity cost will thus be the M&Ms, because that is what you're giving up in order to take the Snickers bar. Alright, so this is what I mean when I say everything has an opportunity cost. Now, I assure you we're going to go over the concept of opportunity cost many times over this series. It's actually one of the cornerstones of economics. And so I assure you, if you don't understand this concept perfectly today, that's fine, because by the end of this series, you'll know the concept of opportunity cost very well. Well, let's go on to the next principle. People think on a margin. What does this mean? The term margin means the next additional unit. So people think in terms of the next additional unit. So how would you illustrate this? Well, let's say you're eating dinner, and so you're sitting at a table and you have food in front of you. So what do? Well, I assume that you don't just, before you do anything, just think of a magic number 47 and say, well, I'm going to take 47 bites of food and then leave. No, you don't do that. What do? Well, here's generally the process of how this works. You first start off, you're hungry, and then there's, then you go up this meter, then you're full. Alright, so you take the first bite, then after the first bite, maybe you're still hungry, you're not at this location, you're not at full yet, so you take the next bite, and then after that, you take the next bite, and then the next bite, and then the next bite, and so on and so forth until you're full. So you keep taking additional bites until you reach this point where you're full, and then you stop eating. Well, margin means the next additional unit. So in a sense, this is your next additional byte, so your marginal byte You keep taking marginal bites until you're full. And your decision to either keep eating or to stop eating depends on, whether you're at full or you're not. So you base your decision off marginal bites, and people base their decisions on the margin. So that's what this phrase means. And again, we will go over the concept of margin very, very many times over this course, so you'll also be very familiar with this concept. If you're not today, you will be, I promise. Alright, so let's move on to the last one. People respond to incentives. I erased part of it by accident. So, incentives. So what does this mean? People respond to incentives. Well, let's say you have a firm. Right, so this is a firm. Then you have a worker. Well, the worker has 24 hours in a day, and he spends some of it at work. Let's say he spends 8 hours at work. So from principle 2, we know that he has everything has an opportunity cost. Even his time has an opportunity cost associated with it. Because what is he doing? He's facing a trade-off between going to work or using this 8 hours, and he can either be watching TV, taking a joyride in his little car, or spending the whole day and just sleeping in bed. These are really bad drawings, but that's a TV, that's a car, that's a bed. So yeah, he's facing a trade-off between either going to work or doing these things. So this is his opportunity cost of going to work. So why does he go to work? Well, the firm pays him. The firm pays him money for him to go to work. So in effect, the firm is giving him an incentive. By giving him a paycheck, he goes to work. So, and this person is responding to the incentive by going to work and picking up his paycheck. So this is what this principle means. People respond to incentives. Well, this concludes the first video lecture on these principles. We'll finish the remaining principles in a future video. And like I said, I'll say this again. We'll go over all these principles many times over this course, so you will be very familiar with all of them. And I mean, ultimately, you will be familiar with them already from today, but it's okay if you're not, because some of these are not very intuitive, but I assure you, you'll get them eventually. You'll get them if you just keep watching the videos, you'll get them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as usual, have a nice day.